But what happens after a week? What happens after a month? What happens after a year of doing business with the client or trying to follow up? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, I got something badass for you guys. We're gonna get into the top 13 points, the lucky 13, on why you need to be selling with relationships. Listen, I see a lot of people, they want to be the best closer. They want to use the word tracks. They want to, bring the energy up. But what happens after a week? What happens after a month? What happens after a year of doing business with the client or trying to follow up? You gotta go to the relationship. You have to switch your intentions from I'm gonna close a deal, I'm gonna be the badass closer, to how can I provide value for you? How can I follow up the right way? How can I serve you at the highest level? At the core of sales, no matter how smooth and savvy you are, you will never build your true book of business to the highest level unless you learn how to serve. So point number one, what do we got? Relationship selling. Relationship selling. This is a theory based around, instead of learning how to close and sell and high volume cold calls, what are we gonna be doing? Well, I'm gonna be figuring out, hey, what does this guy like to watch? Like, what does he like to wear? What's his favorite watch? What's his favorite pair of shoes? If you're in high ticket sales, I see people, they won't spend $50 on a pair of Vans to follow up with a guy with a $10,000 commission deal. You see high stakes real estate with these people with $5, $10 million listings. That is not a close. That is more negotiating, follow-up relationships, finding the right fit for that client. So depending on whatever industry you're in, whether you're in door-to-door, straight knocking on doors, trying to close the deal, versus actually, you're in real estate, two totally different sales industries, but you have to learn how to have relationships. What does relationship selling look like in an industry like door-to-door? Door-to-door, it looks like me cracking jokes, having fun, getting to know this person, making a friend, versus sitting there and trying to pitch my product in a shorter time frame. And on a longer time frame, you got all these different deals like B2B, business to business. You're gonna have those sharp type of connection and selling points, but you also are gonna have to have really good closing skills on the back end of that. So number one, relationship selling. Number two, you know what it is, trust. You can't get shit in sales without trust. So in sales, they always say, what is sales? It's a transfer of emotion. Well, I think almost as equal part to the transfer of emotion is the transfer of trust. I don't trust you, I'm not giving you my money. I'm not giving you my credit card. When somebody decides and they say, hey, let's shake hands, let's do the deal, I believe in you, I think you're gonna deliver on exactly what you said you're gonna deliver on, and I think that you're a good person. Let's do business. Trust is at the core of everything. This is a game of day to day, week to week, month to month, where you're looking at, does this person trust you? When somebody has objections and you can't get the real objection, you're getting stall objections. Hey, I need to talk to my wife. Hey, I don't really know, if this is a good fit. They're giving you blanketed little statements that are not hard objections like budget or some of these more firm objections. It's because they don't trust you. You build trust by breaking the wall down, slowing down, detached from the money, detached from everything. Put yourself in their shoes. So trust. If you don't have trust, you ain't got anything. Number three, active listening. Some of y'all like to talk a lot, but guess what? Some of the best closers, they're gonna talk a lot, but they're also gonna listen a lot. I'm like a sniper. I would much rather go ahead, I'm gonna go through my presentation, my pitch, I'm gonna hook their interest on the cold call, on the door, on the initial interaction to meet them in person. But then what's gonna happen? Hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, tell me about that. Oh, that's crazy. Oh wait, tell me more. How did that happen? I'm gonna be asking questions and probing because I don't really wanna talk about myself. I want them to talk about themselves. Because when they talk about themselves, it's like stacking bullets in the chamber. Hey, listen, if I want to take something down, I'm like, hey, this guy's gonna be a good fit. Well, unless he unveils everything about what his problems are and what's going on in his life, I don't have a chance to take that shot. And so for you guys, make sure that you're listening. And when I say active listening is like, if you truly believe that your product solves a really bad problem, or really, a problem for them, good problem, bad problem, it solves a problem, you gotta listen so that way you can help them identify the pain. Because if you can't identify the pain, you can't find the problem. Now you're pitching something, but they don't have any pain inside them. So active listening, number three. So we've gone through 1, 2, 3. Number four, effective communication. This one's crazy. I could talk about this one for an hour straight. I see people, they play ring around the rosy and they can't get to the point. Salespeople sometimes are too scared to talk about, hey, how do I get to the point? When's the perfect time for the price? How do you have that effective communication? Well, if you can explain certain situations, what you're trying to accomplish, I'll ask people, this is a good example. Hey, Steve, what do you do for a living? Pitch me your product. Well, we do this, and this is a science-based research, and we go back from 1890, it was founded, and we have cotton hem shirts, and it does this, and we're the lowest price. I'm like, what do you do? And then I'm like, so what you do is you make premium cotton shirts, and you guys have been doing it for the last 200 years. He's like, well, yeah. I'm like, why did it take you 2 minutes to tell me that? When you do that, it's like it's like this weird intention behind it. You try to find all these ways to sell your shit instead of just saying, oh yeah, we make premium high-end luxury clothing. What are they gonna say? Oh, that's awesome, man. Where's it from? Like, how'd you guys do that? How'd you get into that? Versus you're gonna answer all their fucking questions. So then when they don't wanna ask you any questions because you already talked all about it. Effective communication. There's all these different pillars of effective communication, but I think to get to the point to actually establish your relationships and keep your level of status at the highest, because I don't want to look like a little worker, like a little sales guy in a headset in India talking about, oh, this is what it is. No. Get to the point. People like to save time. They want to get right to it. And then guess what? When they say, hey, what is that? You get the chance to now tell them about your product or service. And it's not fucking weird. So 4, effective communication. Number 5 is one of my favorites. Beyond the transaction. Most people, they're gonna sell a product and they're gonna move on to the next. They're gonna move on to the next. They're gonna move on to the next. Why? I think it's because people, they don't develop an actual lifelong career or even a substantial career for the next 2, 3 to 4, 5 years within whatever they're doing. Let's say you're doing, I don't care if you're doing solar, I don't care if you're in insurance. People sell like they're gonna quit next week. And I think that's crazy because that's the reason why they are thinking about quitting, is because they never actually build a book of business, because people can tell that they don't truly give a shit. When you go beyond the transaction, what does this mean? This doesn't mean you gotta spend money on gifts. What does this mean? This means that you gotta figure out who that person is, how you can serve them, how do they like to be served. There's an insurance agent I've been working with for 4 or 5 years. I don't want to be talked to all the time. I don't need a follow-up. I don't need a fucking gift. Can you answer my text within a few minutes? Can you respond? Can you get me a quote? Can you work fast? If you can't, I'll move on to somebody else. The reason this guy's earned my business on 10 different cars, my house, and all this other shit is because every single time I text him, hey, got a house, this is the deal, give me the best quote, I need to be in this range. Boom, 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 done, went through 4 different carriers, got you the best quote, boom, boom, efficiency. I like speed, I like efficiency, my time is valuable to me. So that's how he goes beyond the transaction, is he delivers the quick. He'll check in every few months, need anything, need a phone call, text, need anything. No, good, appreciate you. Know your clientele, know your people. So that way you can go beyond the transaction and you can go further. Now, say you're in bigger ticketed sales. Maybe it's dinner, maybe it's wine and dine. Figure out how you can take that next step. Number 6, kind of goes hand in hand, exceeding expectations. This, we got the transaction, like I'm delivering on my service, but then exceeding expectations, in my opinion, it can be a little bit of both. It can be me literally going and deciding to go above and beyond, get them an even better deal than they were expecting, or going in and trying to call a few more people. Let's say you're a lender, you're trying to get somebody approved, and most of your people can't get them approved, but then you go above and beyond, and maybe you call one of your buddies to get them approved because you give them the business because they got a better aggressive rate or term or something happens. They're gonna still think about you, even though that you turned the business over to them. They're gonna think about you because you exceeded the expectations and put the client at the center of the decision. Now, I'm not telling you to do that every single time. And if you're at a place that can never match anything, I might say you might be at the wrong place. So make sure you're in a good vehicle to actually be able to serve people at the highest level, but make sure you exceed expectations. I love when I have a certain expectation. No one says anything. They don't tell me, hey, I'm gonna do even better. Don't say anything. Just go ahead, deliver on it, right? I give it, like, here's a great example. Let's say you hire a video guy, right? You're like, hey, I wanna get this content shot. I wanna go ahead and make some videos. And I'm like, I just kinda want something like this. The guy's not gonna say, oh, we'll make it like this, we'll do this. And he's explaining the 10 different ways. Well, that's not my profession. I'm like, just make it badass. Boom, exceed expectations. That's how you're gonna keep people on the hook. That's how you're gonna keep people that are excited, because not only did you meet exactly what they need, but you're exceeding it. Number 7, network of referrals. So let's go back to why we're doing all this. So we got 1 through 7 on how we're gonna build upon relationship selling, build relationships to sell, and build that network all in whole. How do we do it? What are the things inside of it? Well, network of referrals is one of, I would actually put this, if I could put number 7 right here at number 1, this is the most important thing when you look at relationship selling that's actually gonna generate you income. What does this mean? Well, when I do all of these things and all of these things over here that we'll get to in a second, I now start to get referrals that will pay out and will sell themselves. Let's say this, right? Let's say I've gone through and I've made friends, I've gone above and beyond, and now I'm friends with some of these people. We go out to a dinner. Well, I got me and 2 other buddies that are clients. I'm the sales guy, and I got 2 other people that I'm looking to do business with, but we go out just to have dinner, not on a sense of, hey, we're gonna do a deal. Well, what happens when we kind of mention a little bit of the things that we're doing with them? They need my service. Who's gonna sell it? Do I need to sell it? Or who do you think is gonna step in and say, hey, listen, this guy, Danny Klein, what he's done for me, what's going on, the Elliott group, the things that they do, listen, I don't know what you guys have talked about, but this is what I've gotten. They will sell it for you. Somebody that actually is in your corner that's done business with you, they will give you business, they will serve you up referrals, and guess what? You create raging fans when you go beyond the transaction, when you exceed expectations. So build a network of referrals. Make sure you keep all of these people right in the loop. You serve them, you stay connected with them, and you don't let people go. A lot of people, I've done business with people 2 years ago that I'll still talk to every now and then because I know that maybe they might buy again eventually, or they might refer me somebody. I'm after the relationship. People, guess what? People are like, how do I make more money? How do I make more money? Where does money come from? Money comes from people. It doesn't grow on trees, it comes from people's pockets. So people focus on the money, they focus on the sale. Oh, I'm gonna close you with this word track. But if I had all of these people that are on my team, I recruited them to like who I am as a person and what I do, how's that gonna turn out? It's gonna turn out pretty good. Number 8, conflict resolution. I was telling a story the other day about how I got to be the manager of a country club at the biggest pool in my city, back home in Virginia, when I was 18 years old. I was at least qualified. There was another girl I went to high school with. She had more of the certifications. I didn't even have my certifications to do the pump and shit. They just taught me. I didn't have anything. I was probably the most immature out of most people that I was working with, but guess what? I figured this out. I said, I wonder why they hired me. I was having a conversation with somebody. I said, why would they put me in a manager position? And I really thought about it. I said, well, the one thing I'm really good at is conflict resolution. And you look at somebody who's a manager, can I talk to your manager? Can I talk to your manager? What does that person do? They got to deal with the bullshit. Well, I could always deal with the bullshit, and I could peel people down. I could get them to relax, and I could get them happy again. That skill set was more valuable than the 3 more years of lifeguard experience that someone else had, the prior manager experience that someone else had, and the actual skill set of learning how to do the pump and the chemicals and keeping the pool clean and all this bullshit. I didn't even know how to do the schedule. I hired the other chick to do the schedule. Guess what? But I knew how to do the conflict resolution. All those other things are super important, but I'm just telling you, when you know how to dissolve situations, it's hard to find people like that. Most people get flustered. So we got number 8, conflict resolution. Know how to handle problems. People are gonna be upset with you eventually, and you gotta know how to handle it, especially people that are close with you. If you don't, you're gonna burn those bridges. Number 9, long-term relationships. Like I told you guys, some of these friendships that I've had, and notice I said friendships, because after about a year, if you haven't turned it into a friendship, I'm not sure. Unless you're in insurance like my homie, you're checking in, knowing your client. If you're in that business where you need to have a friendship, understand that, adapt to that, and actually become your client, become what they need. Learn those things. Learn their language. What do I mean by that? Let's just say you're dealing with the high-level executives. You're dealing with people that are at the highest level, and they're talking about investors. They're talking about all these different things. You don't need to be at that level to understand their language, speak their language, and be able to still actually help them and carry a conversation with them. When you can do it, they'll respect you a lot more. They'll go 10 times further. Long-term relationships. Stop burning your clients that already believe in you, that can buy again, that will refer you more business. People want to work 10 times harder, and they forget to realize when you build a business, aka my salespeople, you have your own business inside of the business. Like I work for the Elliott group, I work for somebody else. I'm guessing you probably do, unless you're an entrepreneur. And guess what? Even if you are an entrepreneur, you work for the people. You work for the people. Keep these people at the center of everything. Understand that without that relationship, without these people on your side, you keep letting people go over 2 or 3 years, it sucks to restart. I don't want to try to find new people that are on my team, that are my biggest fans, that have seen my work, that have seen the growth, and actually really like me as a person. I don't want to go backwards and try to cultivate new relationships. So the relationships that you built, don't forget about them, keep them on point. Number 10, providing value. How can you provide value? So I was looking at, I'll give you guys an example. I went to go look at a wakeboard boat the other day. Like boating, like going surfing. So I was like, man, let's just go check out a few boats. We go and check out a few boats. I tell this lady, man, I've been to this dealership. They didn't help me here, no information. I told her everything I was going through. She's like, hey, whatever you want to do, We'll go ahead and do that. I'll pull the boat up. She's providing value. She's hey, hook your phone up. Let me get the Bluetooth. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, I know you like sound system, don't you? That's like the biggest thing when people get these boats. They want to make sure the sound system is like crushing it. You guys are younger. Boom, connects up the speakers. I'm like, that shit's fire. So she's providing value. And at the end of the transaction, we go through with her for an hour. Amazing experience. What happens? She hands me her business card. Guess what the business card says? President. She was the president of the dealership. She was at the front desk because I guess a couple of her guys were out. And I was like, wow, what a level of service. Not a bat in my eye. I thought she was just a killer salesperson. No wonder why she was so professional. It's because she was the actual president of the company. That in itself is value. Let's say you're at a higher level in your service. Maybe you're a manager or you're a sales manager and you're trying to train your team right now. Well, what's going to help close that deal when people realize, man, what's the perspective of what's going on? You can provide value in a million different ways. You can give people things. You can help people with preparation. We're helping somebody build out a training system here at the Elliott Group, and they're like, hey man, we're not sure how these videos look. It's their first time on camera doing a training system for their company. I said, hey, you know what? Give me one of your polos, ship me one of your polos. Next time you guys come down for your next recording session, I'm gonna train and do it with you so we can make it badass. They're like, dude, thank you so much. That wasn't on the freaking, that's not what I signed up for. But guess what? I want to make sure that it's delivered to the standard that they're envisioning in their head. And if I got to put a polo on and shoot their company training for them, I will. It doesn't matter what it is. Set your ego aside and figure out how can I keep the client at the center of the decision and deliver on what they're expecting and actually exceed expectations. So provide value. A million different ways you can provide value. Figure out what value is to them. And also, don't ask the question, how can I provide value to you? Figure out what they need and what they want and deliver on that shit. I see people say, what can I do for you, Danny? I want to deliver you value. I don't know what you're good at, bro. Your value might cost me time and energy and it might actually piss me off, might be annoying. Versus someone else, they might be really good. They might have a really good skill set with the SEO. They might go and fix my Google. They might have something else. They might know how to advertise their market. I'm going to set up this funnel for you. Find the holes and just fix it for them. Stop asking people what you think that they should do. Become an expert. If you don't know how to provide value, you don't deserve the business. You're not an expert yet. Notice I said yet. Number 11, keep the deal closed. What does this mean? Let's say me and my guy Steve, we shake hands on a deal, boom. And then he's like, hey man, we're going through, let's say we're 10% through the deal. He's like, see you around. I'm like, we better see you around because we're doing the deal. We already made a deal happen. It's already closed. So like, I expect to see you here I expect to see you tomorrow, see you next week. Let's keep the deal closed. Let's not make it weird. When you got to follow up or call or text, don't try to rewrap people, assume when on their word, if they say they're going to do something, I'm going to act like it. Sometimes people you deal with, they're busy on their phone. They're not texting. This is just sales. Welcome to sales. Welcome to business. People get busy. People put things on the back burner. He said, yes, I'm going to do that deal. I'm just going to call him. I'm going to call him. I'm going to text him. I'm going to do what I need to do to get in contact with them so I can figure out, hey, is there something in here that's not working, or you good? You busy? What's up? Keep the deal closed. Because when you keep it closed, you understand the expectations of what you shook hands on instead of making it weird and dipping into let's say they do have doubt and they're not answering your phone. Well, I don't want to dip into that doubt and for them to give them bias to think that I'm doubting them. I'm gonna keep my certainty here until they tell me that there's doubt. I'm not gonna be weird about that shit. So keep them closed, keep them in the pipeline. If they said they're gonna do a deal and we shook hands, I'm gonna take their word for it and I'm gonna treat them like that. Number 12, how do we follow up and check in? So follow up is very simple, checking in is very simple, but these all kind of go hand in hand. When I look at all of these things, from relationship selling to trust, listening, effective communication, network of referrals, resolution, all of these things are traits and skill sets that you need to have and hone in on to be able to actually develop those relationships to sell long-term. This isn't a daily type of training. This is more on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, yearly basis. How do we act? How good are you? If somebody says, hey, I'm pissed, I didn't get my thing. It was supposed to ship out last week, I didn't get it. How do you handle it? If you don't know those things, all these other things don't matter. They all go hand in hand. So when I look up how to follow up and check in, notice up here, I said my relationships, my friendships. I follow up like a friend. We shook hands on business. This is my mindset around business, personally, as a salesperson. Boom, we shake hands on business. I'm like, hey, we're gonna do this deal. Here's what I'm gonna pay you. Here's what I expect. That's one box. Then over here, in between servicing what I told them I was gonna service them on, we have a friendship over here. Because in my life, my business and my personal life, they're all meshed in together. They're all the same. I see people, they try to separate them. That's why you can't connect with these people at a higher level, because you're separating them. Well, we're gonna do business. I don't need to talk about it all the time, because some of those things, they take time. Let's say you sell solar, it's gonna take 2 months to install. Let's say you do something else, it's gonna take some time to get those things done. And in between that, develop a friendship. Don't forget that all sales really is understanding people. They wanna build friends. And it's not on some fake bullshit, make a friend, build some rapport shit. It's no, like, do you really care about the people that you're doing a deal with? You might make a little bit of money if you're super transactional and you're a badass closer, but you won't make it a lifetime unless you truly learn how to service people, how to take care of people, and how to build relationships. I see people that run restaurants, straight hospitality. Dude, anything you need, return, boom, that food wasn't good, cold, hey, let's get him another drink on the house. Straight hospitality, zero friction at all. Learn how to follow up and check in, whether that's sending memes, sending a video that someone might enjoy. You know, let's say you like freaking Trump, you're into the politics deal and you're seeing a podcast, boom, send them a Trump video, boom, you guys, whatever it is, figure out how to follow up and check in without always saying, hey, how's the deal? How's this thing going? Keep it on the back burner, we're gonna deliver on that. But then guess what? After they respond, boom, hey, here's where I'm at the deal, here's where I'm expecting the timeline to be on the project. Number 12. Number 13, the last one. Stop being so weird. Some of you guys are so weird in how you follow up and communicate. It's so transactional. You think that something's gonna happen. You think that someone's gonna be upset. You actually distance yourself from that client and from building that relationship because you're afraid of them giving you objection. You don't really care enough about them. Even though you say that you love people, you're transactional. I'm gonna tell you, don't be weird. Don't forget that people are people. I see what I think the best way to describe not being weird is, don't be super professional. 2024, the year of being hyper professional and politically correct, is in the fucking trash can. When you watch, even if you watch this video, it looks like I'm reading off a script, it looks like I'm reading off a teleprompter, if it's a perfect video, you're gonna be like, dude, this is like scripted, this is bullshit, this is too perfect. People wanna see that you're real. People wanna see that you're taking notes. People wanna see that you're prepared. People wanna see all the things that you're talking about, hear the stories, hear the experiences, and connect on a deeper level. When you can connect on a deeper level, you'll be able to actually get in with people. They'll trust you more. They'll refer you business because they like you as a person and you just so happen to do this job, this sales. So let's look at everything from top to bottom, from relationship selling all the way to keeping it real, not being weird on number 13. I would tell you guys, go through and look at all of these traits. I talk about levels to the game and I talk about, hey, how do you rate yourself? Rate yourself on all of these things. How is your listening skills? How is your network of referrals? Just go ahead and give yourself a gauge on like how good at these things are you? Do you suck at communicating, but you're really good with providing value? Are you straight transactional? Do you not build trust very well? Once you identify the holes in your game, it's like a bucket. If it's got water in it, got holes in it, it's spilling out water. I gotta plug those holes if I want water to actually fill up in that bucket. So look at all those things, figure out where you can improve, start attacking those things daily. I do this for myself on a consistent basis because whatever you don't use, you lose. And I'm not losing any of this shit because I want to stay sharp. I want to stay on point. I want to stay a 1%er. So you guys enjoyed the video, top 13 tips on how to crush it with relationship-based selling. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, share it with a homie. We're dropping fire on the daily, new content coming out every single week. We got podcasts coming through. We got behind the scenes. We got educationals. I'm bringing the whiteboard stuff for you guys because guess what? That's where the money's made. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys share the video, subscribe. See you guys in the next one.